Hey everyone, and welcome back to my completionist playthrough of the Baldur's Gate Saga with SCS. So here we are in the Sahuagin City-of-Caverns, and when we last left off, we learned that apparently we are a part of yet another prophecy, not only Alondo's one about the bolt spawn, but also one made by the shark father of the Sahuagin, Sekolah. I think that's how they emphasize his name, not Sekolah, but Sekolah. But anyway, also in the last episode, the royal high priestess Senitili asked us to stop by the temple and speak to her, and
What is it?
that's the first thing we're going to do.
An offering for you, Sekolah. Open your mighty jaws and take this, your former servant, as sustenance for you.
So here's, of course, the other high priestess being sacrificed for her failure here. And apply sixes.
You continue to be an oddity here.
And yeah, Senitili is going to inform us that the rebels are in the eastern part of the city, behind two great doors, magically sealed apparently. Long ago, Sekolah appeared there and slew 1,000 infidels. He decreed no heretic should again enter the city, and sealed the doors. He placed his tooth upon the doors so that we could open them. Later, the drow came. With powerful magics, they stormed the city, led by a mage of great strength. He took Sekolah's tooth from our lax guardians with the intent of blocking pursuit. The mage built an edifice in the southwest section of the city. He was killed, but his complex remains. Sekolah's tooth is guarded somewhere within. We have little need for it. The ocean is the means of our travel, but you need it. So yeah, we're going to need that tooth to even reach the rebels. And she also has another plea to us. Our king is mad. Surely your audience with him showed you this. He is the result of poor breeding. Like his father, he has executed and exiled far too many of our kind. Our numbers are too few, our blood too thin. We must regain what we have lost. Prince Villanati, the exiles' leader outside the city, is our only hope. So there's going to be an argument here that we're going to discuss in a second about this whole thing. With the prince on the throne, we would be strong again, to fight the Illithids and the drow. I have been in contact with the rebels, and now is the time to strike. So, yeah, she's going to, of course, warn us that Ixilfatokul is pretty unpredictable, and trusting him is not too reasonable. And basically, all she's going to ask us is going to be to talk to the prince and see what he can offer us. Yeah, I only ask you that you talk with Prince Villanati, that is all. Listen to what he has to offer and decide then what you shall do. Right, so we will agree to her scheme for now, but I have a completely different plan to all this. Anyway, she's going to give us an orb that's going to allow us access to the rebels' lair without having to fight our way through. Alright, and basically we have to look at this whole issue from our perspective, right? Why would we want this evil race of Sahuagin to become stronger? Why would we want them to prosper? This race that apparently makes raids on the surface and kills surface races or captures them to eat them or to sacrifice them to Sekolah, their evil, ruthless god. Why would we want them to become stronger than they are now? And the argument here is that they could, if they are strong, they could oppose the Illithid and the Drow in the Underdark, presumably taking more of the other two races' attention and directing them away from the surface. But I don't think this is a very compelling argument because, first of all, as they said, they can travel, through the ocean depths and whatnot. So basically areas where the Illithid and Drow don't have access to. There are some like places of conflict like this city, I guess, when they would fight the other two races. But if they want to hide from them, they can do so easily, I guess. And also the other thing is that if we destroy or severely cripple the Sahuagin and kind of remove them from the picture as this third force, that will probably mean that the Drow and Illithid will just devote more resources to fight each other. And even if they have some spare resources and forces to make some raids on the surface, so would the Sahuagin. They also would make their own raids, and we're not going to weigh which one is the worse evil. If we have an opportunity to deal a decisive blow against such an evil race as a Sahuagin, we are going to take that opportunity, of course, and basically ruin them. And you'll see what I have in mind a little bit later. But yeah, this is the orb. That's going to allow the rebels to recognize us as a friend, I guess, quote-unquote friend. Also, here is a part of the silver sword, the blade part of it, that Semantics gave us. And as it says, it's a piece of a silver sword, a vorpal two-handed sword used by the Githyanki and considered holy by them. It is magically sharp and can sever limbs and heads with ease. So that's why the Githyanki referred to it as the Relic of Holies. And this is one of the two parts of the silver sword that we will be able to assemble later on. And it's also said that it's a vorpal weapon, and what that means is the vorpal weapons are weapons that have a chance to instantly kill, usually by like decapitating the target. And the silver sword is going to be the first weapon of that type that we're going to be able to get our hands on. And some enemy types also wield vorpal weapons that make them very, very dangerous because of that chance to just instantly kill. So we're going to hold on to that, and I wanted to take my charisma cloak, and also we don't need this John's key for that portal in Spellhold, and also yeah, the sewer key we don't need anymore. And here, of course, like I said, we're going to ruin this race, but not before making some trades with them, because this priestess has a nice selection of scrolls that I'm going to buy from her, mostly for Kiranai, so that in the future, when she gets access to use any item, she's going to have some more scrolls that she will be able to use. I'm going to get like 2 more vocalize. I haven't had the need to use vocalize yet, but just in case some of our casters get silenced, we can get that. Maybe 1 more haste just in case. Maybe some scroll traps. Also, let's bring our guys closer so I can rearrange the inventory without any problems. Yeah, this is not all. We definitely... oh yeah, these fire shields blue are nice, but we definitely want all the stone skins that we can get for Kiranai. I think these Shadow Door scrolls might come in handy. Also, Greater Malison is now on the table, now that we have 3 mages. There are some viable strategies. With the Greater Malison, you know, making the saving throws of opponents worse, and then we can follow up with some pretty cool spells to affect them, or to increase our chance of affecting them. And yeah, always nice to have some more breach. And I think that's going to be it. Alright. Now we're done, and now we can finally go to that southern portion of the city and check out that drow construction and obtain the Tooth of Sekolah. By the way, this is a really cool looking place. And oh yeah, here this royal guard has a word of advice here, a word of caution for us. You should be warned that it is not truly part of the City-of-Caverns. Beyond here lies an old place home to the blackened elves, with traps enough to send any to the belly of the Sharkfather. Enter at your own risk. I think we can inspect some of the architecture here. It's a pretty cool looking place. This one, of course, is going to be our first taste of some drow architecture, the one we're about to enter. And actually, let's give these boots of speed to Kiranai for now. Also, Jaheira can get your ring back. Oh, you're still too far away, huh? We need Kiranai to disarm a trap for us here. So do you have... yeah, you have your ring equipped. Alright, so there's going to be some basic encounter with some spiders here. And also a bone golem in a second. Yeah, pretty nice damage from Imoen, now that she has that fire tooth crossbow. Kinda like checking it, especially when she crits. She can crit for like 30 something damage pretty easily. Yeah, 18 and 2 fire on top of that, just from a mage, essentially. Alright, so here's the bone golem. Should be no problem for us now. Yeah, boom. Alright, and here we have 2 imps that are going to be pretty happy to see us, see someone new. Apparently that's an opportunity to play a game with them, and they're pretty ecstatic because apparently the Fish King here has no sense of humor. Yeah, you big peoples will want the treasure, right? Big peoples always want the drow's treasures. Yes. You can have the drow treasure. Oh yes, but you have to play our game first. So yeah, we can't really take the treasure ourselves because in the chest that contains some drow treasure, there's also a specter, some kind of an evil spirit, that is indeed going to instantly kill us if we try to open this chest. Yeah, it has a nasty, nasty, nasty inside it that will come out and steal your soul. You'll be forever dead, dead. We can unlock the chest and protect you from the nasty, nasty, but only if we play our game. Alright, so we will play it, and basically the game is going to be about matching a characteristic item to a famous person from the Forgotten Realms universe. Of course, feel free to pause and read in detail, but there's going to be 5 well-known personalities from this universe, and we'll be able to speak with them, and they're going to give us an item belonging to someone else. But first we need to get rid of the traps here. There's way more of them. There's like 4 more in this area. This is just one of them. There's one like to the north, one to the east, I think. Oh yeah, these 2. And one on the way to a very special beholder. Alright, that's all of them. Yeah, this Spectator here. And we also can actually unlock this chest for some additional experience.
To ask, this most noble order of the Radiant Heart of which you belong, why is it that you lead the converted like lambs to the slaughter? On ramparts across the Faerun are heads on pikes of the Radiant who've been eulogized to the myth and allure of your vaunted brotherhood.
'Tis very unwise to meddle with the cornerstone of civilized life in the Faerun. The Brotherhood has brought peace to tumult, so that good might prevail over darkness.
And so here a banter between Edwin and Anomen about some values of the Order of the Radiant Heart and how it operates. Yeah, Anomen is always quick to to respond with some angry line and threat of violence. Anyway, as I was saying, what was I saying? Oh yeah, that we can actually unlock this chest for a little bit of extra experience before we actually finish the game. But yeah, here we have the famous personalities, Elminster, that we know of course, and as always, again, feel free to read in detail. They will always say something about themselves, and they will give us an item for someone else. So Elminster, for example, gives us a scimitar that belongs to Drist. So here's Kelben Blackstaff, also a pretty well-known wizard, very powerful one. Gives us a pendant for Alustriel. Alustriel is, she says, a daughter of Mystra, one of the 7 sisters, the chosen of Mystra, and she was also the ruler of Silvery Moon for many centuries. And she uses an elf model, but she's supposed to be a human, actually. And she was also the High Lady of the League of the Silver Marches, which is a coalition, kind of an alliance of some northern cities, including the Mithril Hall, also a pretty well-known place. Here's Pyrgiron. You would think that his name is pronounced like Pyrgiron, but according to some sources, apparently it's like Pyrgiron. And he doesn't kind of stack up to the other people here. I think he's by far the least well-known. He says that he's an open lord of Waterdeep, and that's because lords of Waterdeep normally have their identities like hidden from the public, but he was one of the 4 like known lords. That's why he's an open lord. He was also the leader of the Lords Alliance, basically at the time where Baldur's Gate takes place in the 1300s, and he's actually a pretty formidable opponent as well, because I think he managed to slay a dragon lich. So yeah, and he gives us the black staff belonging to Kelben, and here's Drizzt. Of course, everyone knows Drizzt. So here in the chest behind him, we can give him his scimitar. Pyrgiron, we can give him his helm, the pendant to Alustriel. Then we can give the black staff to Kelben and the pipe to Elminster. Right, you got it all right, you did. You outsmarted us, but good. Well, the game is the game over already? Yeah, we keep the deal. He goes and opens the last chest now, and we imps will save you. We gets to laugh at the nasty nasty. So here's the Spectre. What is this? I cannot reach your life force. Haha, poor nasty nasty. You can't do nothing, nasty. We protecting's the big people. I am too weak. Haha, that was fun. You funny big peoples. We go now. So, yeah, now we have access to this chest, and normally, I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but the Spectre would just instantly kill us. And here we would normally get our first Cloak of Protection +2, but of course since we stole one from Termincell earlier on, that's our second one, very nice. Another item of Protection +2. And these one, well, actually let's bring Edwin over and see if he can... Actually, it's going to be faster if just Senashira goes over there, see if he can identify some stuff for us. Nope, and oh, and yes, boots of how do you, like, it's etherealness. Yeah, it's the effect of being ethereal. So this is not very impressive, but still useful in quite a few situations. Basically, this is kind of like a worse protection from normal weapons spell. And that's because protection from normal weapons lasts for 1 round per level. So right now our mages would be able to cast it for like 15 rounds, and this one is only 5 rounds. That's the biggest downside. Of course, makes you immune to normal weapons. And like I said, it's still useful here and there. I'm going to hold on to it. And actually in this very area, in the City-of-Caverns, we're going to use it in one encounter when it's going to be pretty useful. Here we can identify another Cloak of Protection +2. Actually, we can give that to Imoen, I guess. And but yeah, this spell, when it comes to the different attacks of different monsters, whether they are considered magical or non-magical, that's not very intuitive. Like for example, some monsters that you would think would have non-magical attacks, like trolls or umber hulks, or even a lot of spiders, they actually have magical attacks. Like sword spiders, for example, have magical attacks. But there are some that are considered non-magical, like for example a lot of undead creatures use non-magical attacks, and even some notable ones like greater mummies, for example. Alright, I know Animan, you're excited, but let me finish. Here, like greater mummies, for example, have non-magical attacks that this ability will protect you from. And vampiric wraiths also strike as non-magical. So, you know, it really depends on the monster. It would have been way better, in my opinion, to have this item be available somewhere in Athkatla, so that you could get it pretty early in your playthrough and then use it, you know, because it only lasts for 5 rounds. It wouldn't be anything, you know, too powerful, but it would be just an interesting and useful item to use in these early encounters with like hobgoblins or kobolds or orcs, or these like humanoid parties early on that use normal weapons. But unfortunately it's only available here, and of course as we go on, as we progress further in the game, it's going to become less and less useful, but there are still some situations where it is useful. Now, when it comes to this Spectator, there is a special dialogue option that we're going to go for that requires at least 14 wisdom, so we could do this conversation with Jaheira or Animan, but I'm going to of course use Senashira just kind of for like role-playing purposes. Of course want Senashira to do this talk, and we have a lot of these potions of insight that are going to buff our wisdom, so I'm just going to drink this one. And this is super cool. Like I love this encounter. This is yet another way where when Baldur's Gate offers kind of a different approach to a certain thing, this type a beholder. That's normally of course an evil, fearsome opponent, but this is going to be different. Visitors. It has been some time since I have had anyone but the mad little Sahuagin come to this place, and that one is not full of riveting conversation. Ah, but I see you hesitate. No doubt you have heard of my kind before, or even met some. You call us beholders. I am but a spectator beholder, however, and not quite like others you may have met. I am set in this place to guard one thing and one thing only. I will not attack you unless you try to touch what I guard. Touch anything else you'd like, provided you weren't driven insane by the imps back there. So, how it is that you came to be in this place? I was summoned by a mad little drow who took over this part of the Sahuagin city a long time ago. This chest was extremely important to him, apparently. The Sahuagin were attacking, and he didn't want them to get the chest after he died, so poof, in I came, attached to a 99-year contract. Only 40 years to go. The drow wasn't much more entertaining than the Sahuagin, really. He smelled better, though. I don't think I'll ever be able to stomach fish again. To top it off, I got stuck with the drow's imps too, which are bound here, but keep teleporting away from the Sahuagin. I wish they would just go away. I mean, I can only play I Spy and Peekaboo so many times without getting tired of it, but not them. Oh no, rotten impish bastards. What's with those imps anyway? Oh, they've been here since the drow who summoned me was slaughtered. 60 years with only 2 imps and a mad fish king for company. Is this hell? There's a chest in there that the Sahuagin put something valuable in. Always whispered the incantation to open it, though, like I would care. The imps figured out the incantation. I suppose they told you, if you didn't squish them on the spot. Not that I would be sad exactly to see them gone. So anyway, what is this exactly that you guard? Just the one chest behind me. You are welcome to open the others with the imps, or do whatever else. I'm not here to do anything about them in the slightest. I think the Sahuagin looted the other chest long ago. They might have put some stuff of theirs around here, though, thinking I would scare off thieves. Oh, that reminds me. I promised that mad little Sahuagin that I would make an effort to scare off intruders. So, boo. And that's about as much effort as I'm willing to put into that. It's been a pretty lonely experience so far, you know? Like, imagine speaking to a beholder like that. Him giving us his life story. Do you know what's in this chest you're guarding? Not a clue. I wouldn't recommend touching it, though. I haven't had any real excitement in a long, long time, but I've no compulsion towards killing, you know? Is there no way I can release you from your task? Ah, that's sweet. Short of death, there isn't any way to shorten the 40 years I have left, and I'm not eager to greet the beyond just yet. So are you sure I can't see what's in the chest? What? Are you in desperate need or something? You have a dying relative that desperately needs what's in this chest? Oh, I get it. You just have to have what's in this chest, right? Because if a beholder's guarding it, it has to be cool. Keep in mind that the drow was summoned, who summoned me was mad. But hey, who am I to judge, I suppose? I've been playing tic-tac-toe with a pair of imps for 60 years. Oh, in case you didn't hear an answer in that, no, you can't look at what's in the chest. The drow specifically summoned me to guard this chest. And here Edwin has an interjection about, the distinction between the chest and what's in the chest, but it doesn't lead anywhere unless you have the necessary wisdom. If you have Herdalis in your party, he's going to do it for you. But other than that, you need 14 wisdom to kind of discover how to reason with this spectator. Well, he screamed, "My chest," as I recall. A spear was being thrust through his own chest at the time, though, so he could have been referring to that. I assume he was talking about this chest, though, and that means I can't let you open it, or do anything to it, even if I'm not guarding what's inside. He, of course, means the chest behind him. But yeah, if you have 14 wisdom, at least, you have this conversation option. Otherwise, the conversation just ends here. But that doesn't mean you can't open it, right? Then I could get what's inside without touching anything. Hey, you're probably right. Actually, I've been wondering what was inside. Tell you what, I won't turn around, and you just go take a look, okay? So here's Sekolah's tooth. Is that it? Shoot, you'd have thought the whole future of the drow race depended on it or something, the way that mad drow was screaming. I suppose I have to resign myself now to guarding a completely empty chest for the next 40 years. Yay. You wouldn't have to do that, would you? Keep guarding an empty chest? What would be the point? You're absolutely right. Not even the drow mage would want me to guard an empty chest. It's not even a nice chest. There's no way the Beholder Council, bloated bladder bags that they are, would hold me responsible for this contract. I'm free! Free, yippee! What to do now? Kill the imps? Yeah, those bastards deserve to die. But first, I'm going to go eat something. You have no idea how hungry I am. So, this is so cool and funny. And fortunately, this is not the only time we're going to meet this Beholder. We actually get an opportunity to talk to him again way later in the game. We're going to meet the same guy. So anyway, for resolving it this way, we get some experience. We of course have the Sekolah's tooth now, and let's actually teleport our guys here. And I think I'm going to give these boots of speed now to Jaheira, just so she can engage in melee quicker. And yeah, now we can explore a little bit more of this City-of-Caverns. And there's quite a few encounters with the different Sahuagin, and normally in the unmodded game they are quite receptive to death spell, but with SCS they are not responding by instantly dying to it, they will ignore the spell, so we have to deal with them the hard way. And there's basically going to be a couple of these encounters where the Sahuagin, like the royal Sahuagin, I guess, the king's forces are fighting the rebels, and they're all going to be hostile to us, so we can just take care of them at the same time. They also have some summons at their disposal, but let's throw in some AoE spells once we have the now that we have the opportunity. We have some wands to use. Let's throw in a fireball, a skull trap. What else can we throw in there? Some holy smite.
What is it, if it must be done? Speak will be done.
Yeah, they can summon these Anguillians and also some undead. I think it's either the rebels or the Sahuagin, the king's forces, that can summon some skeleton warriors also.
What is it?
Yeah, they can poison and they have stunning bolts. But once we, the people who are under the effects of chaotic commands are not going to be bothered by that. And Jaheira, you can just drink an elixir of health here.
Speak.
Oh, I'll show you a fight.
Yeah, here there's a sea zombie.
Yes,
And sometimes they can summon skeleton warriors. Let me just rearrange this quickly.
what is it?
Right, there's going to be some groups of the rebels that we're going to have to kill. Just some basic encounters here and there. There are some more notable ones, and we're just nearing one with some of these undead here.
This is no place for a man of my stature.
Can get some bolts of biting, I guess, some bolts +1. Actually, I think I'm going to throw them away. Like, who cares? Right, 4 bolts of biting. Whatever.
Yes?
Right, here there's going to be a pit with some of these special undead. There's going to be a sea zombie lord who can actually drain levels from a distance, and some other undead. And here we are going to use our boots and become ethereal, because all of the undead here, there are going to be like some ghouls. They are called greater lacedons. All of these undead, except the sea zombie lord, actually have normal attacks, non-magical attacks, so we're going to be protected against that. And we're also going to take this wand of frost, because the sea zombies are very vulnerable to ice, actually, ice and lightning. And I think we're only going to have Senashira go in there, and I'm going to give her stone skins. I think we're going to leave for later. Let's just give her some mirror images. And now we can use the boots. And the thing is, of course, we can use the boots, the effect, to become ethereal, and then we can just switch them out to our boots of speed. And the effect, of course, is going to persist for the 5 rounds. Alright, so here's the sea zombie lord, some other sea zombies, greater lacedons and whatnot. They can actually, like, disease you and deal some poison damage, so it's actually pretty nice to be protected from that. And when that sea zombie lord dies, he's going to unleash a cloud kill. So I'm just going to go in with Senashira, and he has 50% magic resistance, so we'll see if this even works on him, but we can soften them up with our wand here. Right, so he took quite a bit of damage because he's vulnerable to that type of damage. And let's just kill him first. Alright, there we go. So that's the cloud kill. And now we can deal with the other guys at our leisure from a distance.
Speak your mind, speak.
And they just drop minor treasures, and they're not worth that much experience, but it's kind of a cool idea. Those are pretty unique monsters. They don't appear anywhere else. We have another description. Some hellish room.
Yes? Without doubt.
I'm just going to run in there to quickly loot what we can. Yeah, the The Sea Zombie Lord has some antidotes. Alright, that's it.
What is it?
Alright, and another notable encounter, and I would like to still do in this episode, is the one in the middle here, in the jaws of Sekolah, and if we approach it... Well, let's just teleport here. If we approach it from here, there's kind of an ambush, and in the unmodded game it's very, very notable because of a certain item that normally drops here in the unmodded game, but not in SCS.
Name.
Let's give Imoen some protection. Actually, you know what? You can get Stone Skin.
I stand them.
Let's leave Anomen in here,
Ready and right you
What
are.
is it?
and just approach with our fast characters. Alright, so here's the ambush.
At your order.
And they have a priestess with them, and normally this priestess in the unmodded game has a very powerful item called the Cloak of Mirroring, but in SCS they move it to Watcher's Keep, actually pretty deep in Watcher's Keep, and we're going to have to defeat a demon wraith to obtain that cloak, and I'm probably not going to use it anyway because it's so powerful. It reflects damaging spells, which makes this priestess less of a threat, because normally she would have it equipped, but we're not going to use spells on her anyway. Oh yeah,
I shall go
of course I haven't changed Anomen's weapon, and now actually we need to go back to ranged weapons to deal with these guys.
What is it?
But Anomen should have been attacking with his Flail of Ages, of course, and so can Jaheira here.
Next time.
For honor and glory.
Speak. For the fallen!
Alright, so I'm still pretty basic encounters. We're just going to
If it must be done.
clean up the place. The priestess had a nice potion of healing. Basically the Throne of Baal. A potion of healing, the most powerful one.
Speak.
And we can just use some to heal up.
Yes? What it will be done.
Yeah, another fight between the Sahuagin and the rebels. And you know what? We have some spare firestorms. Let's give them a taste of a firestorm here.
All right, all right.
And maybe, you know, they could sit in a firestorm and maybe also in a cloud kill. Why not? Right, enjoy that. Let's have a little bit of variety in how we are dealing with them.
I am ready. What is it? I'm ready. Oh. Nature's good fun to leave your rough.
What is it now? Take that.
Speak.
I shall go forth at your command.
Alright, they are dealt with, and we can just, while these spells are taking effect, we can explore a little bit over here. There should be another group of them.
Speak your mind.
Point the sword, and I
What
shall
is it?
strike.
Certainly. Speak.
You know what? Let's give Anomen a chance to shine.
Without doubt. Nature as I would have done. Nature, take the life
Guides my path.
Work quickly and precisely.
And Seneschal can approach from the back a little bit, not to take the brunt of the
Without
attacks,
hesitation.
as she usually does.
Shall not take long. I await.
Oh, well, they keep shooting her anyway because of her armor class that I did not improve by using spells.
Thought of it. Yeah, very well.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing when doing these episodes. On the one hand, I want to be fast, and I don't want to like waste too much time on like doing pre-buffs and stuff, but then, well, I don't have the pre-buffs active. That container is full already? Right, we're going to have to rearrange that later. Okay, she has a ring of regen.
Yes?
And yeah, some characters, of course, that are pretty reliant on buffs, like Senashira is, would really appreciate me to, like, slow down a little bit and give her some buffs. I guess, instead of just go, 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 go attitude.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so this expired just in time for us to loot some minor goodies.
What is it? Speak.
Oh yeah, here we have some more dudes.
The best leaders.
Should be the last group, I think,
Yes, quickly and
before
precisely.
kind of the rebel encampment.
It is about time. What is it? Without hesitation.
Or yeah, there's one more here. Alright.
It shall be done.
Speak your
and
mind.
done well.
This will not take long.
It is done.
What is
Yes,
it
if
now?
it must be done.
I am ready.
Jaheira going deep.
What is it?
Take their attention. Take some hits.
Lives and he cry for your lives. They are over.
Speak. It will be done.
Worthless Sahuagin lives
Yes? What
are
is
now
it?
indeed over. Did you have anything interesting? Yeah, this is a really cool looking place. But anyway, now I think before we go into the rebel encampment, that we're going to leave that to the next episode, I think. Let's just clear out these groups here.
Yes? Oh, I'll show you a fight.
You shall suffer my
I
wrath.
am ready.
What is without doubt?
Yeah, and we're going to leave the rebel encounter for the next episode, because here we are nearing their base. And we're going to go downstairs in the next episode. There's kind of like an ambush waiting for us, and then we're going to be able to talk to Prince Villanati. And then I think once we have had that talk, I'm going to reveal my plan as to how we're going to deal with the Sahuagin in the City-of-Caverns. But anyway, for now I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.